out, and so you'll have a little bit of water on top that we'll test it first, but we're hoping is not too potent that it can go through the treatment plant process. So the hopes is 10 to 15% of the waste that comes in will be decanted to water that can process through the treatment plant, which will technically provide, that'll be the income off of all of it. Then from the digester, it'll be land applied. 10 cents a gallon is what we're looking at the charge being. That is basically the cost of us land applying and the extra line that it costs to kill bacteria.
This is in lieu of pulling up out here on the side of the building and dumping into that.
We stopped that altogether, but yes, this would.
This is in lieu of them going to another county, dumping the
Well,
waste.
see, all the other counties have shut them down. Now we're going to project the price up to 8.5 cents there. So we think that we could do it for 8. 10, we make potentially $20,000 out of $100,000 in revenue or payments on it. Obviously, it's a trial and error type thing to start with. So the funding on it, currently PAL is doing about 4 tanks a day, which comes up to a little over 1 million gallons a year.
So are we doing it now?
No. That's what he's currently doing now. Of course, we don't accept stuff from inside the county, nothing outside the county, no grease traps, no nothing like that. It has to be residential septic tanks. And just for the sake of now, we didn't want to go ahead and go a full 100,000 for 1 million gallons. 1 million gallons would equal $100,000. So we went with 50 just as a test number. And I didn't put any revenue in there off of it, just till we figure out exactly how it's going to come out. So $50,000 in revenue come in, we put 40 in sludge haul and 10,000 in chemicals to offset those expenses that we've had in the expenditure side. Hopefully it comes out. In the long run, it's not going to be a moneymaker thing for the town. It's just going to be a service.
It's a service to the.
Also to the county, because everybody in the city is on the city sewers for the most part. So this is really just a service to the county citizens that we'll be providing.
Well,
And the businesses too.
would that not introduce better, what are the things called, in the septic tanks, to break it down?
The
bugs.
bugs.
Enzymes and all that stuff.
But the problem is,
Because most people, well, not most people, some people have well water. Is that not better than, I'm just thinking out loud.
right, problem is your typical, when you flush the toilet, 95% of it is water that goes into the septic system.
Right.
Your septic tank, when you dump it, is 95% solids. And so it's very potent, very strong. You also don't know what people flush, because they flush everything. Pills,
There's
anything.
Do we know the percentage of people in the city limits that's still on septic tanks versus that's on the city sewer?
I would say we're less than 5% inside the city limits.
Because that's all you're going to accept, is city limits, right?
No, county.
Oh, county, okay.
County. Everybody in the county.
Well, that will be available.
Yeah. Yeah. If it was just city limit people, you wouldn't have 1 year.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be no issue at all.
right.
Honestly, it's just to be tested to, run some extra tests on it to see what it would cost. And the more we're able to accept before hauling, the bigger the haul is from our sludge haulers, the cheaper it's going to be, because they charge there's a fuel surcharge that they do now, and then it's about $1,000 that they charge to test the waste before they land the pipe, because it obviously has to pass the test before it can be there. So the more gallons you get out of that test, the test number don't change, whether it's 1,000 gallons or 1 gallons, it's a set dollar, so it's cheaper that way. We did call and check just to make sure that we do have enough land, because this is going to be basically doubling our sludge haul each year. So we had to make sure that we had enough land use that we wasn't going to burn up what we had and would be hunting more land and not be able to just take care of our own needs in the future off of it. So that's what we've worked out. This is honestly started at 8 a.m. this morning process. So Dustin's been thinking and working on it for a long time, trying to come up with a way to do it.
If it doesn't work, we're gonna have to abandon it. So
Right.
We'll
We're not taking anything now to begin with. So worst case, it goes back to what it was. The key is just keeping it out of our treatment plant facility in general, because it was killing some expenses.
All right, let's move to the next page. This is the general expenditures. You can see at the top, salaries went up. We talked about insurance and FICA and retirement. Everything throughout the operation is relatively the same. Utility software did go down. Yeah, everything operational there is pretty much the same. The capital outlay is about cut in half due to us looking at pulling out money out of the CD for one-time expenditures.
Can I say one thing?
Yes.
All of the capital outlay is shown in general fund expenditures. The difference from last year to this year is our investment earnings are $144,000, our capital outlay is at $70,000. That means we're using $70,000 of investment earnings to operate, which is not what we want to do. So that's something we've got to work on.
Water expenditures on the next page. Everything is relatively the same. We did take out a substantial amount of leak repairs to put into capital outlays, so we're not supplementing that as much. Water meter replacement did go up, so we can ensure that we're replacing faulty meters as we can. Take a look at debt service. The first one is Energy United year 2020 year payment. So this is our last payment. There was budgeted $73,000. Actually, this year we only owe $38,843. We're going to keep $73,000 in that line item because next year, or in a couple of years, we have to start paying back our loan for this SRF lien money that we have to finance the 1.25. Our debt payment every year is only like $68,000. So that'll just roll right into that line item. And we've already got the money in the budget to keep just paying for it. So we're already there budgeting to finance that project. Those projects. Let's flip over to sewer expenditures, next page. Everything is pretty much the same. We dropped a little bit in system maintenance in the top section.
Obviously, I'll follow on the FEMA money, or that FEMA project to finish it out, carried over into this budget year, so that expense won't be there next budget year. So that's why the system maintenance was able to get in $30,000.
We did raise sludge removal this morning and wastewater treatment plant chemicals in the third section, just to anticipate that added expense if we do start taking septic collars. We've already had chemicals for that.
we were already going up 5,000 in chemicals as well, because every 2 months now I get a new statement from John's Chemical for an increase in plastic, chlorine, and sulfur dioxide.
This doesn't, overall doesn't show any increase.
On the west side,
Sewer,
For sludge removal?
Oh, I'm talking about in general.
in general, don't show any increase in anything.
Well, then we need to check our,
Well, it's 400 and some. We cut 30,000 out of system maintenance.
Oh, yeah.
And increased, it just
Okay.
happened to play out to basically $4 million.
I will say we did talk about, increasing our, water and sewer rates by a quarter this year, on the per thousand. So the minimum charge at 1,000 gallons will stay the same, and then every level above that, we increase the quarter. That's help us stay consistent with the market, and we want to eventually get off the unit assist list, the local government commission, and we have to show that we're consistently staying the same. We also have a lot of infrastructure projects coming. We did not get selected to be funded for phase 2 of the SRF, so I'll be talking with the COG later this week about some other infrastructure money we can apply for to fund phase 2 of our projects. So still looking for money to do that and money to do anything and everything else. So, but we do have to generate some type of revenue to match these grants and be able to pay off debt. As far as the budget, then we'll roll into the next item on the agenda. If you look at, I skipped over this earlier, it's page 19, I believe, of your budget. It's tourism. That's where we're talking about economic development. So I have listed on there personal services section for a Main Street coordinator, and then in your planning and development, there is code enforcement, but I dropped that in anticipation to discuss with you if you wanted to renegotiate our contract with the county, and they just do planning and zoning, and then we pull back code enforcement ourselves, so we're not paying them for code enforcement, and then we can try to hire a part-time code enforcement officer that's specific to just the town. We do feel like, since the county only has one person and they're complaint driven, that they can't handle the workload that the town has and the county has. So we want them to be more proactive. So that would save us about $13,000 and something dollars. Hypothetically now, if we pull that back, so we would need a little bit more to pay somebody part-time for $20,000 a year and working 1,000 hours. And then if you want a Main Street coordinator, that's also going to cost about the same, which we currently don't have. So that will require a cent. Just keep in mind, at some point in time in the future, when we want to be a Main Street program, we're going to have a Main Street coordinator. They will not allow us to be in the program and not have somebody dedicated specifically to that role. It can't be
full-time.
Yeah, I mean, if we're always going to be a small town affiliate community of Main Street, then we don't have to have a full-time. We can have a part-time person. When I was in Bessemer, I was the planner and the Main Street person, so you can have somebody do a role, but you have to have a full-time person in the role if you're going to be a fully accredited Main Street community. So that's there. You don't have to fund it this year if you don't want it, but at some point in time, it's going to take some money to fund it if you want Taylorsville to be a Main Street community. For the budget, that is all I have. If you all have any questions on anything, think about this checklist.
So all of these things are in the budget at the numbers that are listed on here, correct?
Correct. We just haven't appropriated the amount of fund balance to balance the budget with it, or figured out the operational, whatever that we need to enable it to make it balance. So you all circle what you want to be funded or not to be funded, and then, I can work on that to be able to bring you something at the council meeting in May. We can kind of have our first preliminary reading of the budget. We can talk about what y'all talked about, funding, and why it's in there, because that's what y'all requested. Is there any questions on the budget?
Will you once again emphasize the 100,000 for town hall office renovation?
So hiring a new finance director, I would like to, Aaron and I have talked about, we have to do these 2 new HVAC units, so we'd like to move where the air return is in the copier area, which is underneath the mailboxes. Move that to the wall on the kitchen, take out that wall, take those boxes away, that frees up that space walking into the accounts payable. Switch the kitchen and the finance office, because they share a wall with plumbing and electricity, and make the finance office the break room, turn the kitchen into an office because it already has a window, so we don't have to put the expense of cutting out the exterior wall and adding a window on the other side. And then you can move HR and clerk Nicole into the new office, which used to be the kitchen. You put the finance officer in Nicole's current office. That way, all the finance is up front. So you have the finance officer, you have Rachel's area with the accounts payable, and you have the utility bill and clerk up front, and then make another little office area up there where that person can sit. And also, which would be Angela, our deputy finance officer, also do finance stuff at a workspace.
And if you have a code enforcement officer and or Main Street coordinator, you're gonna need somewhere to desk space for them to sit too.
Has this already been estimated? Just numbers thought out there.
So I'll get your ideas on it first, and then I'll start talking to contractors, see how much it costs. And when it comes time for June 2nd for our public hearing, then we'll have real numbers in the budget for it. Probably want a little contingency with it, just in case. We also need to replace the flooring in town hall because it's coming up everywhere.
Linoleum?
Yeah.
I used to call that stuff. What old
Would
people?
that help the drunk walk going to y'all's offices?
Yeah, if we put the same flooring that's in Angela's office now, out in the hallway, that take
Snap lane.
snap over it, and then it comes and kind of level it out at the same time throughout the hallway.
That's the biggest time to develop in part of it.
Yeah.
It also kind of buys us a little bit of time for several years to kind of decide at some point in time we're going to need to make some renovations to the shop on Junebug for Public Works or build a new one, and then just stuff's going to continue to age, and you want to either continue to renovate or build a new one. So at least it gives us some time to accommodate our space now and what we need, and to grow a little bit over the next couple of years, and not have to feel like constantly making changes.
Well, what's the space? Is the space downstairs that was supposedly police department storage, but it was actually being used for other stuff, but it was cleaned out, and what's it like now? Is there room down there that there could be offices added in the basement?
There are offices down there. You did. Yeah, it's nice down there.
The police department has offices down there. Yeah, they use it. We have an area storage, and then we have another room, and there's
So it's all used?
yeah, it's two. Yeah, the police department uses that.
I think I've ever been down there.
Yeah, it's nice down there.
Yeah, we can kick them out.
Do
So we can kick them out.
What is the brush pickup increase? What does that mean? That's on.
It's added, fees at the landfill for the brush that we're gonna be dropping off. That's new tires we gotta buy for the tractor and fuel and, man hours for somebody to help. Right. All right, since it's 4:25, I'm gonna exit, and then y'all can move on to the next item on the agenda.
Okay, next item on the agenda is,
May I make a recommendation to take a 5-minute bathroom
everybody want to take a break or you want to
break?
get?
Or with just me, I'll just do it, I'll just carry on.
Yeah, I vote in the break.
Work session.
But now I would want, well, we can do it when we come back from the break. But I would want present in the next item, closed session, to be the council, Aaron and yourself, and Nicole.
Yeah, and then.
Everybody else,
Chief,
that's only 2 items.
Thanks, I appreciate you.
You like being on the list?
Yeah.
They do. Stand up. Stand up.
No, I will move on this side.
Stand up. Pull the hand on that phone.
So you're talking ballpark, fire
Oh, yeah.
Well, I was saying that they're probably a contract.
Organized, I mean, and this one's just, but they're saying the same thing.
Yeah.
Everything I'm looking at here is the same,
I'm not gonna,
so I don't understand.
business address.
Wow.
Property.
It's not for a plan, that's just a plan. I mean, if it was closer, but that's a lot. That's half of what the other.
Well, the people are gonna volunteer there.
Yeah.
In that parking lot, they don't pay for it.
I wonder if anybody's gonna talk.
Trash everywhere.
That's all you can.
They're ripping us up.
I kinda need some chocolate. I'm gonna see, 'cause I need chocolate.
You need to have something.
Need something.
Fire under warm, we'll break them all down.
Yeah.
All we need is a go ahead, and you get the okay, we'll write it.
I'll give you the okay now.
We just need to set a price
Right,
and get some, citations for that.
right.
I don't know, we probably got some old ones, but
Yeah.
it's probably $5, something like that. Let's say no.
We don't have, I almost brought one.
Oh, you want to stand? I got a easel here. I wish one. Okay, that's still hot.
Huh?
That's still hot. Just a bit.
Okay.
Oh, the camera.
Yeah.
We're about to turn it on. It is.
Cause this is closed session, isn't it?
Yeah, as soon as we make the motion, go into it.
See that one or not?
Your choices are there. Not do anything, or if you're gonna do some of this stuff, either raise the taxes or you appropriate the fund balance.
No,
That's,
we have too many things that need to be done to be appropriation.
some of it, we're gonna have to do some of it, I think.
Yeah. I think a tax increase is just inevitable. I mean, it's a deal.
What?
That's a little, cheaper one.
It's inevitable.
Drink wine now.
split back there, right? This is not a secret cost.
Is there waters in there? I'm saying, cause I think water.
Well, happy, just, take it. Good luck.
And why are you leaving? Why are you not gonna be in there?
I'm gonna be.
Okay.
Okay, I got it now.
Okay, this is Sterling Road.
It is. I'm gonna talk about
I've got some serious issues.
it. Well, that's what we're gonna talk about.
I'm hoping you can answer that serious answer to a question.
Well, if it was an easy answer, we wouldn't be sitting here.
It'd already be solved by now.
Right, right.
An easy answer to what?
Well,
Is there a neighbor to
I
talk
said if
about?
it was a simple answer, we wouldn't be sitting here.
To this? What we already got.
Sterling Road.
We'll wait. Not that amazing. And I guess they'll need to turn the camera on. I would appreciate it if you would.
Oh, it's closed session.
Yeah.
Have you run into this before over Catawba County? Anything similar to it, so you could do it? No.
I guess the reporter thing is gonna be after you, when we get back to staff. I just feel like
That's the camera.
I'll take it over. I did the same thing.